So, because of something beyond human comprehension, because our brain cannot understand, because God's wisdom is beyond us, we watched, or we heard rather, that 19 children and 2 teachers were gunned down yesterday. I originally reported it was 15 children and 1 teacher, but the death count has risen and it may continue to rise. Children in a Texas elementary school who were gunned down, teachers in a Texas elementary school who were gunned down brutally, horrifically by a teenager. And this happened because, for some reason beyond human understanding, God chose not to do nothing. 19 children, 2 teachers had to die for some great plan by the Creator, the Most High, the omnipotent, whatever, however you pronounce that, this supreme being, Creator, whatever. This God chose to allow this to happen. This God chose that and decided it was necessary that they perish. So it is clear that it was not God that did anything. It was the police officers who shown up at the scene, who were the ones who stopped this action, this horrific action, so that other lives would not be taken, because God, for some reason, wanted this to happen. Nothing happens without the permission of God. That's what I'm told. God has some kind of wonderful plan. So I assume that God wants to bring these children and teachers to his heaven, or for some of you, they're not going to die anyway. They just went to heaven. They just went into the spiritual realm, or whatever. We know that we will not see them again here. So it doesn't make any difference about heaven or the spiritual realm. We don't know nothing about that. We should be happy that they have gone to a better life if that's the case, but we cry and we feel sad and we call this a tragedy instead of a celebration. See, y'all religious spiritual people, you're hypocrites. You're faking, you're frauds. If death doesn't exist, why you cry? Why are we getting upset? We should be celebrating. And you notice that nobody is in a rush to go to heaven, just like these Pan-Africans. They are not in a rush to go to Africa, move to Africa. These people who believe in the spiritual realm, in heaven, they are not in a hurry to go to the spiritual realm or go to heaven. It's all bogus. It's all nonsense. It seems to me also as though this God, supreme being, most high creator, whatever you want to call him, it seems to me as though this being, it's supposed to be peaceful and loving. I just don't see it. I don't see the love, the justice, the peace from this supreme being. I don't see it. And I'll give you an example. There are those who want to be the chosen people of God. You will hear that Jewish people, and they have made Jew a race instead of a people who just believe in the Torah. And we're going to go using this logic, this understanding. Jews are a race. So out of all the races, all the different people on the planet, why is this God going to choose and favor Jews? That's just like you are in a family and your mother and father favor one sister over another, or a brother over a sister, one child over another. How would that make you feel if your parents chose and played favorites, one child over another? How would that make you feel? Now, you will hear, well, the Jews aren't the chosen people of God. The black man is God. God is a black man. God favors black people. God favors the African. You will hear that God favors, and God is made in the race of the people who believe in that God. So if you're Chinese, your God is Chinese. If you're an African, your God is African. If you're European, God created race. I'm trying to understand this. Why would God create all these different races and treat everybody different? And now we're fighting and we're full of hate, trying to find favoritism, just like the child in a family, and you see that your brother or sister, your parents are favorite one of your siblings over you. You want to try to get their attention. What about me? Why can't I be your favorite? And so we sit around and we want to show the parents, I'm more worthy. I'm more worthy. Parents are supposed to treat all their children the same. There should be no Chinese God or black God, African God, or Jew God, all these different things. It should be one God. And if there's one God, then God cannot be black or Chinese. God can only be, and why is God a race? How did God become the black God or the Chinese God, the African God, the Indian God? I thought that there's only one God. Unless you're a Hindu. Hindu says or teaches that there are many gods. And I think that's more where y'all need to go, because clearly, if there's only one God, there's a lot of confusion in what we believe in. And why is God a race? You see here in the teachings that God cursed one race over another. Well, I will curse you black, and I will punish you. I will punish you for 400 years because you bad. But then you have other people who also basically do the same thing, and you don't punish them for 300, 400 years as a slave. And then you have those who are the victim of victims, and they say, well, God is going to raise us up, and you made us a slave, and now God is going to make you out. How does that solve the problem? How does that make things right? What do they say? Two wrongs don't make a right. Why would God make different people? Where's all this difference and hatred and prejudice and bias coming from? Original life on this planet is clones. Why didn't God, if God wanted all of us to be the same, think the same way, do the same thing, why didn't God just make everything a clone? All the trees are the same, all the rocks are the same, all the birds are the same, just clones, and be done with it. Now you fighting, human beings on the planet fighting because they want everybody to be whatever they are. And this is the confusion, this is the hatred, this is the violence that we get when we get involved in religion and spiritual, so-called spiritual teaching. Well, that's not spiritual. Spirituality is the mother of religion. It's all the same thing. Tomato, tomato. There is no difference. You think as a spiritual person, your thinking and your thoughts is just as fantasy and fairy tale as religion, and you are just as nasty and violent because nobody believes in your spiritual realms that you have no proof of, just like there is no proof of God, period. The reason why there are differences in life is because it makes life better to survive on this planet. The ability to change, because this planet is constantly changing. There's always something different happening on this planet, and you must be able to change. If you cannot change with this planet, then you will go extinct, or you will have a very difficult time surviving. Ants and bees are good survivors. There are many animals who have been here for thousands, if not millions of years, because they have the ability to change with the environment, whether it's natural or man-made. You have squirrels and deer and other animals that can live among people because they can change with whatever is happening in the environment. God is loving, but treats everybody different. God is not fair. All of us should be treated the same. There should be no black God and Chinese God, red God, and all this race stuff. So this makes God sounds like a racist. So if God chooses whoever to be his chosen people, God is a racist because he's choosing the Jews because of their race. He's choosing the Africans or the black because of their race. All human beings have suffered oppression. All human beings, many human beings have suffered slavery and rape and murder all over the earth. Why is one what's the word I'm looking for? Why is one tragedy more than another? When many of us, as a gender, women have been oppressed all over the earth and still being oppressed. God really should stand up with women, the first human slave. So this whole thing is mind-boggling to me, and it further makes me and others question, and we should wonder. I suggest to us that we let go of these archaic, outdated thinking process, because clearly we're on our own. God is not going to do nothing. We must learn how to use our brain, use common sense, reasoning, logic, and being analytical in order to solve our problems.